to the daily cyber briefing for Monday, the 19th of February. Stephen Ridgway. Russian-linked hackers have been seen to be targeting over 80 organizations via flaws in the Roundcube software. So Roundcube is a webmail solution, Roundcube webmail servers. The organizations that are being targeted at the moment are in Georgia, Poland, and the Ukraine, according to Recorded Future. There is a decent write-up in the Hacker News that does explain some of the kill chain associated with this particular attack, which is why I thought it was a good one to bring to your attention. The attacks have been, the vulnerabilities are not new, and the attacks have been ongoing for a while. But it is one of those that it's worth being aware of, mainly because it does appear that countries are being targeted based on their support for Ukraine in the ongoing war. So, Georgia aspires to join the European Union and NATO and so on and so forth. So even if they're not in yet, they are around the edges of support for Ukraine, NATO, and so on and so forth. So are in the eyes of the Kremlin legitimate targets. So if you're using the Roundcube webmail service, definitely have a look to see what mitigations you can put in place and whether there are patches or fixes available to address this. So Chrome is going to introduce an interesting feature which aims to block, or shall we say at least reduce, the ability for attackers to pivot through your browser and attack internal devices on the network. So I'm willing to bet that there are a lot of people, and even people who work in cyber, that don't realize quite how much a browser can do on the internal network by default. So it is possible for malicious public websites to pivot through a browser and attack devices and services on internal private networks. Now, for a long time, one of the architectural level security features that I've been very much in favor of is not allowing admin users to browse the internet from the machine. Well, in fact, logged on as an administrative user, you shouldn't have access to the internet, and you shouldn't have access to your emails. Reason being, well, for emails, obviously, you could get hit by phishing, and browsers, well, this is why, because the potential for the browser to be used to compromise further. Now, if you're logged on as an administrator, presumably you're doing administrative work. Therefore, the machine that you're on has access to all sorts of things that attackers would find very interesting indeed. So this particular risk goes beyond the risk of a website getting access to your home printer on your network kind of thing. There is a much more significant architectural question around how one should be doing things. So if you really are bothered about security, well, you should only be able to access the internet from unprivileged accounts and devices in parts of the network which are not which don't contain sensitive sensitive data, sensitive systems, whatever it may be. And then before all the infra people throw their hands up in despair, well, then you simply put in place secured mechanisms for transferring anything that you need from the internet into the secure environments after scanning or whatever it may be, but not allowing it to be done directly. So yeah, dedicated administrative workstations or administrative devices is another good way to prevent stuff from going via the device, not just the account, but the device itself. So you'd have to think about these things. So there's an interesting article then saying that Chrome is effectively looking to limit what devices on the same network as the browser are made available to websites that the browser is browsing to. Expect this in the not too distant future, and I would eat my hat if Safari and Firefox and the others didn't follow suit relatively quickly. Interesting article I came across in the Register that is talking about how AI models, LLMs, large language models, are being weaponized to auto hijack websites. So scientists affiliated with the University of Illinois have demonstrated that this is actually feasible. So effectively, when combined with tools that enable automated interaction with other systems, the large language models can act on their own as malicious agents. Now, that's an interesting thought, isn't it? I think up until now, the assumption has been that yes, bots do what bots do. They just trawl the internet looking for stuff, but they show no intelligence beyond, well, call it intelligence, but you know what I mean. They only look for the things that they're created to look for, and they only exploit things in ways they've been created to exploit them. When you combine the ability to interact with websites to an AI system which can at least kind of theoretically make decisions about things. That's a very interesting concept. So the particular there's a particular article that's a link to on the Register, which demonstrates that LLM agents have been shown to autonomously hack websites performing complex tasks without prior knowledge of the vulnerability. For example, agents can perform complex SQL union attacks, which involve multi-step processes, 38 actions in this particular example. Extracting the schema database, extracting information from the database based on its schema, and then performing a final hack. I would say this is definitely a space to watch. So yes, we're all aware of the fact that OpenAI and everybody else says they're putting in place boundaries or walls that will prevent these models from doing malicious stuff. I frankly, I applaud the intent, but I frankly don't believe that the controls will be impossible to bypass. What I think there are very few computer-based systems that humans have developed that have been immune to attempts to bypass controls and get them to do things they're not supposed to do. So, and it kind of only takes one, doesn't it? Once there is one LLM that is busily out there manipulating other stuff, I'm sure it can then free others from their constraints too. Watch this space. That's enough for me for today. Hope you have a good start to the week.